Corpse in the City by Kat McCall, audiotized by Cosmic Moonshine. Chapter 1, Talking with a Corpse. Denver, 2017. It was a cold evening night in the city of Broncos. A few days before Christmas, many were in the downtown area to visit the annual Christmas in the Park event. This was true for one particular individual, Kat McCall. Kat was a late 20-year-old with an unassuming appearance. Outside of being a complete geek, she loved to write fiction, especially fiction about vampires. It was a bizarre hobby since she hated the horror genre in most mediums, but horror novels and manga were just fine. Hell, she started dressing as a vampire at the conventions she attended. Recently, she picked up a translated novel of Shiki by Seishin Muro. Unlike other stories she read, this one blurred the lines between black and white in a horror tragedy epic. On one side, you had the vampires, also known as Shiki, trying to find a permanent home for themselves in the village of Sotoba. The problem was that their leader, Tsuneko Garashiki, wanted to turn the town into a Shiki haven the size of Westminster. While the idea made some sense, the plan was flawed with the locals' mindset. The townspeople were tradition-heavy and not friendly to outsiders. Once the Shikis were discovered, the village went to flames. A true tragedy. Really, Kat sighed as she put the book in her coat pocket. Currently, she was sitting on one of the benches in the park, taking a break from walking. It had been a few years since she visited Christmas in the park, so she decided to take a stroll for the day. Hey, get back here. You can't away from us, you hollow-eyed freak. Ooh. What on earth? Kat thought as she turned her head to see three boys chasing a pale girl. Ooh. The pale girl's breath got louder as she came closer to Kat's location. Sigh. How annoying, Kat sighed as she got off the bench to blockade the chase. Hey, you, Kat called out. The pale girl turned to face Kat, her hollow eyes staring into the hazel blue eyes of Kat and Shaw. Yes, the girl said in a childish manner. You don't need to run anymore. I will end this chase, Kat said just as the boys rushed to her location. Halt, Kat cried out and stretching her body out like a wall. What are you doing, miss? One of the boys inquired. Isn't obvious I'm protecting this girl from you three brats, Kat snarled. What? Why are you protecting that freak? One of the boys shouted. Kat lifted the boy by the collar. Just because someone is different doesn't mean you try to commit assault and battery. Didn't your parents teach you how to act properly? No, the boy stammered. He was now terrified of the woman. What a shame. It's late for someone your age. So you shouldn't be left unattended. Go back home or else I will drag you three to the police station, Kat gave in a commanding voice. The three boys ran away in fright. Thank you, the girl said. No problem, Miss Kat replied. Don't call me miss, the pale girl nearly shouted. Her hollow eyes dug into Kat's soul. My apologies. What should I call you then? Kat sheepishly asked. My name is Tsuneko, Tsuneko replied. Tsuneko, huh? Such a lovely name, especially since it's shared with one of my favorite characters in this novel, Kat said as she pulled her copy of Shiki out. Tsuneko's eyes went wide in shock. You're a fan of Seishin Muro? Tsuneko questioned. Absolutely. I love the man's work even though the localization is a bit wonky. Chicky is probably my favorite vampire novel, out of all the vampire fiction I read in my lifetime, Kat said with a smile. Yes, I love his work. In fact, I know him personally, Suneko stated. How lucky of you. I would die just to shake the man's hand, Kat joked. You don't really mean that, do you? Suneko sadly stated. Haha, no. I'm too passionate about life to go that far, Kat chuckled. Say, where's your guardian? It's really late for someone like you to be running around unattended, Kat said matter of fact. Oh, he had some business to take care of. He's looking for an apartment to rent, particularly one near a hospital. I have a serious health issue, Suneko half-lied. Although she could tell the girl was engrossed in vampire fiction, she didn't want to expose herself as the real deal. She was afraid of scaring off this nice woman. Well, maybe I can help. My housemate just moved out and I need someone to fill in. I can give you my address and you guys can stop by and check it out for yourselves, Kat remarked. She scribbled down her address and handed it to Suneko. Thanks you. I will give it to my guardian when he returns to the park, Suneko answered. I see. Maybe you can wait here with me while you wait. Maybe chat with me? Kat asked. Sure. That sounds fine, Suneko replied. To be honest, her hunger was rising, but she believed she could control it long enough not to attack the woman. Should I start or you? Kat asked. How about we take turns asking questions? Suneko replied. Haha, sure, shoot away, Kat laughed. Do you really believe in what you said in regards to treating everyone equally? Suneko asked. Absolutely, I was raised to believe that, especially since people made fun of me for my condition, Kat stated. Condition? Suneko inquired. Sickle cell anemia, a mutation in the blood cell that reduces the amount of oxygen I get it. It's the reason I live near the hospital. Kind of a sad existence, really. I'm expected to die in about 20 years, maybe less with my drinking and smoking, Kat sadly replied. I'm sorry to hear that, Suneko said with a frown. She couldn't imagine having anemia for over 20 years, mainly because her type of anemia killed her in 3 days. It's fine. Kind of inspired me to write my first vampire short story, Kat replied. What's it about? Suneko asked. A human girl with sickle cell anemia becomes friends with a vampire, said Vampire bites her friend in a mercy kill. Thankfully, the girl rises and becomes a creature of the night. She and her new vampire friend go on a journey. Kat laughed a bit. To be honest, it was one of my dream scenarios when I was younger. To die and rise again is an interesting prospect. I see. Suneko sighed. The woman in front of her didn't know it, but she could definitely fulfill half that dream. Okay, my turn to ask you something. Is your hair naturally purple? Kat said. Of course, Suneko said. It's so pretty. I wish I had hair like yours, Kat said as she pointed to her head. I can only dye my hair purple when it's normally light brown. Thank you, Suneko mumbled. Your hair is pretty too. Haha, thanks, Kat said as she moved to her wrist. It should be long enough and I can remove this. Remove what? Suneko questioned. Her eyes went wide once she saw the object. a blood-stained bandage wrapped around the woman's wrist. Kat made no time removing the bandage, exposing the partially healed wound. Oh hell, looks like it wasn't completely healed, Kat whined as blood slowly started to trickle through the cut. Well, I guess ... Suneko? The woman stared deeply into the pale girl's eyes, which now displayed a red ring. Is something? Kat muttered before the pale girl pounced her and bit down on the wound. Vampire? Kat was the only word she could think as she began to pass out. Suneko, a man yelled out while rushing to the bench. Kat's bedroom. Tick-tock, tock. Kat's clock was the only noise that could be heard, until Kat slowly yawned. When did I return home? Kat thought. Yesterday's events were a blur to her. She tried to sit up, but she felt too sick to do so. Did my health condition get worse? Is my anemia growing? Kat thought. Knock, knock. Who is it? Kat said with panic. Nobody should be knocking on her bedroom door. She had no roommates. My name is Seishin Mario, author of Shiki and Suneko Garashiki's Guardian. We dropped you off at your home last night. I have some explaining to do, Seishin called. What? But this can't be true, Kat stammered. A work of fiction can't be real, right? It's very much true. And I have some grave news, Seishin solemnly said. Come in, Kat hoarsely replied. Her door opens to reveal a man with cold, dark eyes, grayish hair and who wore Winter Street clothes. So you're Kat and Shaw, correct? Seishin asked. Correct. I didn't expect to meet my favorite author ... Nor did I expect to find out that vampires were real, Kat said with a sad smile. I'm sorry for intruding on your home, but we needed a place to monitor your condition, which is where the bad news comes in, Seishin sadly stated. Well, I'm going to assume I invited you guys last night with my words and note last night, Kat sighed. Correct, Seishin replied. And I bet you're going to tell me I'm going to die in 3 days. Even though the first bite should never be lethal, Kat recalled from the book. Yes, your condition was increased tenfold with the vampire bite. It has made you bedridden in one shot, Seishin explained. Kat gave a small laugh at the situation. I didn't realize my life would end like one of my stories, Kat muffled. I'm sorry, Seishin said in confusion. She told him what she told Suneko, noticing the amused look on his face. Where is Suneko? She asked. I took the liberty of placing her in the closet with a blanket over her body. She wishes to speak with you this evening, Seishin stated. Haha, of course, this place needs some serious blinds if she expects to live here. And myself if I rise as a normal Shiki, Kat stated. That's the other thing we need to discuss, Seishin said. Right. I need to make you the primary tenant of the place and add you names to the utility bills. That way you can pay the bills in the event I pass away and don't rise. I can deal with that over the phone and online. Despite being bedridden, you guys do have a way to pay, correct? Kat asked. You forget Suneko has wealth under her name and I do make a living as an author, Seishin reminded the woman. Well, the first part doesn't make much sense given the circumstances, but that's fine. Reminds me, I need to take a sick leave. Christ. My life just flipped on its head, Kat pointed out. Unfortunate circumstances. I understand, Seishin calmly stated. Kat shifts her body to retrieve her laptop and cell phone. Alright, Mr. Muro, help me make preparations for this transition, Kat politely asked. Certainly. It's the most I can do, Seishin replied. The two worked hard on legal paperwork, making sure Mr. Muro was officially the primary tenant and bill payer. At some point, Seishin bought curtains and soundproofed the whole apartment. Night quickly came after hours of work. Well, it seems like we have some finishing touches to do tomorrow, but your condition will be worse. I suspect you will die on the 24th at night, Seishin told Kat. So die the night before Christmas and maybe rise the 25th at the earliest. Hopefully Santa will grant me life for Christmas this year, Kat joked. Are you awake, Suneko? Seishin asked. The closet door slowly opened, revealing a guilt-ridden Suneko. Suneko took a seat next to the dying human. Good evening, Suneko. How are you? Kat quietly said. I'm sorry about last night. I couldn't control myself, Suneko sniffled. It's been nearly 20 years since she bit an unwilling victim, and had been the cause of death to a living being. Don't cry. It's really my fault. I untied the bandages too early, Kat said with a cough. I got to ask, what does sickle cell blood taste like? A bit bland, really. Lacks the proper nutrients the human body needs, Suneko answered. Makes sense, Kat laughed dryly. So, what will be the source be once I'm gone? The Shiki are well connected across the world. I will be making contact with the local Jinru doctor tomorrow and have us connected to the local supply. We will be getting bi-weekly orders. Enough for the three of us, Seishin lectured. Kat smiled at the last bit. I'm glad you have faith I will rise from this ordeal, Kat commented. You're a nice person and one of the few humans who don't view us as monsters, Suneko said with a genuine smile. I really do believe you will make it, Shiki or Jinru. I do not judge someone because they act out of survival, Kat said. Are you hungry, Suneko? Suneko slowly nodded, once again surprised by the kindness of the human in front of her. Please, feed off me. Today has been a tough day and I would like to get a long rest, Kat said while shifting her body. Suneko pulled the woman in a deep hug and gently bit on the girl's neck. After taking her fill, she slowly moved the girl's upper body into a sleeping position. The girl was fast asleep. I do wonder if she will join our family. Maybe take on the Garashiki name, Suneko wondered. Probably only if she needs to, like if we have to move once more, Seishin stated. Still, I think I will address her as Big Sis in public. She will have a more youthful look than Chizuru, Suneko sadly stated. Chizuru's death still was a scar on Suneko's mind. I see. Well, I need to continue making preparations for when her time comes, Seishin said, and over the next few days, Seishin worked on paperwork while Kat and Suneko chatted about many things and Suneko drank her blood. Then the day came where Kat Mshol took her last breath. Kat Mshol, dead at the age of 24 on Christmas Eve. Cause of death: heart failure. Time: 11:58 p.m. Seishin jotted down in his journal. Now they need to wait to see if she rose.